Photoshop action I have ever created for super quick skin softening. This action creates beautiful transitions without disturbing the skin texture in just few minutes. The first thing we have to do before applying any kind of skin softening is first of all zoom in and then simply create a new layer. This is simple. I've already taught you this. You already know this. Create a new layer. Click on the new layer button and then with the help of the healing brush tool, I'm going to use the regular healing brush tool. The second one, not the spot. You can also use the spot. Doesn't really matter. And then you can just hold the Alt or Option, click to take a sample and then just paint on the blemishes. Just make sure that the sample is current and below. And then you can also, remove some hair from here which are falling on the forehead and clean up some stuff. Now I have already done this for you. This can be a little time consuming or maybe fast depending upon the skin. So in this skin, I don't have to do so much, maybe a couple blemishes here and there and it's pretty much done. But I've already done this for you, so I'm going to open the second one up. So I've already removed the blemishes. So here's the before, here's the after. Select the topmost layer. In this case, it is the blemishes. And then we're going to play the action. Go to Window and then Actions. Now, if you want to know how to install an action, you can go here, click on the grid right here and click on Load Action, Locate, Load it. So all you have to do, click on Load Action, find the action and just click on Load. Select the action and click on Load. I've already opened it and it is right here, and that is Fix Skin Softening. So I'm going to open this and inside of that I have an action called Skin Softening. So just select that action and play it. As easy as that. That's going to open up Surface Blur. Now here, first of all, increase the threshold all the way to 255. Everything is being blurred at this moment. Nothing is being spared. Now it's time for us to select the blur. Increase the radius to the point where all of the skin tones even out. So at this point, as you can see, there's still a little bit bump here and there. Just increase it to the point where everything evens out. Have a look. Everything is smooth, soft and nice. You can even go further, maybe 35-ish. How about 39? All of the skin tones are now evened out. But we didn't want to blur the detailed areas like the nose and the eyes and the lips. So it's time for us to decrease the threshold slowly and gradually. And as you decrease the threshold, so as you bring the threshold closer to the left, more and more details will show up. Have a look, the eyes are starting to show up. We don't want to bring it down so much that even the skin details are going to show up. We don't want to do that. So if you take it to 2 all the way to the left, every detail shows up. So we need to just slowly and gradually bring it to the left so that the skin is still soft, but the big details, we get them down. Like the nose and the all important edges right here, we just need the edges back. So for me, for this image, I'm going to go for, let's go for 18 or something. 18 seems fine because the skin is soft and the important sharp areas like the eyebrows or the eyes, have a look at the lips, everything else is sharp. So just hit OK. Now it's going to show up High Pass. Now High Pass, decrease the radius all the way to the left and gradually increase it. The more the radius, the more the texture is introduced. You don't want to go too high so that every detail will be back. So you want to increase it slowly and gradually. For this image, I'm going to go 4.4. 4.4 seems fine and hit OK. It's going to do everything automatically. And again, it's going to show up the layer style dialog box. You can control it with these 2 sliders in the middle. So if you take it all the way to the left, the softening will be applied in the dark areas and even in the highlights. So if I take this slider to the left, have a look. The highlights in the nose will show up. If I take it a little too much, you'll be able to see. Now it's more natural. Let's do it from the left hand side. See, these areas become more pronounced and natural at the same time, and hit OK. It seems like everything is gone, but it's not. It automatically selects the brush for you. It automatically selects white as the foreground color. All you have to do is just start painting on the areas which you want to soften. So let's start painting, and it's as easy as that. You don't have to worry about edges. You don't have to worry about anything. Just start painting. See how easy that is on the areas that you want to soften? Have a look. It creates amazing results. And just in a matter of less than a minute, you can create great results. Have a look. Here's the before, here's the after. It looks natural, it looks nice, it looks amazing. Now I was explaining it to you, but it takes much lesser time than that. Let me just show you. Let me delete it. And let me just select the action, let me play it for you. And you can easily select the values here, hit OK. And then usually it's around 4 or 5, hit OK. And the values that I have selected for you right here, you might have to adjust it, hit OK. And it's done. And then simply paint on the skin. And that's pretty much it. And this is a customizable action which will work on images of any resolution, any size or anything, and it does not disturb the edges. This method, you are carefree. You can paint wherever you want. Just make sure you don't paint on the hair because it starts looking strange. So easy. You can also paint here on her body, but on her body it's looking too soft. Maybe we need to apply it separately to her body. So don't bother about that one, but this is the basic thing. Now at the end, if you think it's too much, of course you can decrease the opacity. So I'm going to go for an opacity of something like 70 so that it also looks natural. Here's the before, here's the after, very subtle. That's exactly what we want. So let's delete all of this, and this is how it was done. First of all, we create Control Alt Shift and E, Command Option Shift and E on a Mac. It creates a merged layer of everything that you see on the canvas right now at the top. So, or it's also called a stamp visible layer. Now, the next thing you got to do is to make one more copy of this one. Press Control or Command J. The first one is going to be for the texture. So you can name it texture and desaturate it. Press Control Shift U, Command Shift U. We don't want any color information here. So Control Shift U. Now you can turn this off. And this one is for smoothing. So I can name it softening. right? Now let's convert it into a smart object. Go to filter, convert for smart filters and hit OK. Why is that? I'll show you how to do that. Don't worry, but first it's important that you understand the concept. Now let's go to filter, blur, and then surface blur. Now the great part about surface blur is that zoom in, all you have to make sure is that the skin is blurred and not the edges, like the edges at the end of the face or the edges of the lips or the nose, right? So for that, we increase the threshold and then increase the radius to the point where the skin tones just mix up well, even out properly, and then decrease the threshold slowly and gradually so that we get the details of the edges back, the important edges like the nose and the edge of the face, the lips, so on and so forth. So for this, I guess 19 is fine, and then hit OK. Now we have the softening done, but we want the texture back. And how can we have them back? Simply turn on the texture. First of all, let's go to filter, convert for smart filters, and hit OK so that we can change the values of high pass later. You can apply high pass here. So go to filter, other, and then high pass. Now this is all fine, but you cannot see the texture. It's looking gray. So why not, before applying high pass, I change the blend mode from normal to overlay. Filter, and other, and high pass. Now inside of high pass, you can just select the radius. It determines the amount of texture. 4.3 or 4.5 is fine. Hit OK. Now as you can see, the skin is softened, but all of the other areas are softened as well, like the hair, the lips, so on and so forth. We don't want that. We want to limit the softening. So we need to select both of these layers. So select the texture one, hold the Control or Command. Select the other one, which is softening. Now both of them are now selected. Press Control or Command G. Now we also want to remove the softening from the dark areas and the highlights as well. So double click on the right hand side of the limb. This opens up the limb style dialog box. Now take off the softening from the dark areas. Once you do that, you see the dimension, but we don't want to be too extreme here. Hold the Alt or Option, click on the slider to break them apart. Now as you can see, the transition is smoother. Let's bring it a little more to the left. Let's do the same with the right hand side slider to get more highlights. Alright, it looks fine. And hit OK. We did that to reduce the softening from extreme shadows and clear edge. Now we need to create a negative mask. Hold the Alt or Option, click on the mask button. Now it's applied nowhere. Select the brush, hold on color white. Make white on the areas where we need the softening. And with that, see how easy that was? Now let me show you, let's delete it again and let me show you the action one more time. Go to window, actions, and then let's apply this action. Skin softening, display it. The value is fine. High pass value is fine as well. Now, it's applied. These values are okay, so I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. See, even less than a minute and it's applied. All you got to do is just paint on the skin. That's it. Maybe I'll just not paint on the nose and some areas like that, but you get the idea. Alright, so we have softened it. It's looking pretty good. Just open this group and double click on the high pass. And now you can just play with the texture. You want more texture, you increase it. You want less texture, decrease it. So I'm going to go for 4.9 and hit OK. If you want to play with softening, just double click on the surface blur and you can play with the radius and the threshold. So the threshold was set right. You don't have to change it so much, but radius is something you might have to play with. So if you want more softening, you would increase the radius. If you want less of a softening, you would decrease the radius. See, less softening,